Put the brakes on, waiting for help. Takes a shot and scores! Martone in his first Stanley Cup playoff game. A huge goal and a 3-1 Flyers lead.
This is the Liberty Yell. I am Chris Stumpo with Derek Dunn. And Derek, we have a 1-0 series lead. How do you feel?
It's pretty incredible. I mentioned this in the piece that just went live moments ago. It's really remarkable when you take a step back and think about how we were talking about this team from essentially December through most of February. We all rightfully had them dead in the water. And the discussion was, if we were going to get into playoffs, I don't even want to get into playoffs because we are going to attend the playoffs simply to be summarily executed in 4 games. That was kind of the general consensus. And yet here they are in the playoffs, and they're not just in here. They can get summarily executed in 4 games. They just won 1, so it could only be 5 now. But more importantly, this does not look like a team that is destined to lose this series. Quite the opposite. I think at this point you would have to favor Philly to win it.
Yeah. And I think you could argue that the game one is usually the most important game in a series. And honestly, dude, like, they didn't just win that game. And I'm not going to sit here and say they dominated the whole 60 minutes because they didn't. But they were the better team throughout most of that game. And I know we'll get into the special teams. The special teams are still so bad. PK did go 2 for 2, though. I will say that. But the power play is a problem. You can get away with it in the first round, but like anything further than that, you're really starting to run into problems with the power play like that. It's incredible how bad it is. I mean, I know we say this every time we talk, but it's so bad, and they have the talent on the team for it to not look that bad or be that bad. Because the funny thing is, they do move the puck well. It's just like they don't set up the scoring chances you want them to. It's all perimeter passing. It's nothing high danger in the slot. It's crazy, dude. It really is one of the most fun. It will be their Achilles heel if they continue on in the second, third round. Hopefully, that would be awesome. But to go back to my main point, I think they not dominate. I think they outplayed Pittsburgh for most of that game.
Yeah. And really, essentially, the summary of what I wrote, the TLDR version, is the Flyers demonstrated what you could have reasonably expected they had going into game 1, which was a significant advantage at 5-on-5. They were pretty easily the better team when it was even strength. And, the special teams, I thought they got lucky with the penalty kill, honestly. I thought Penguins' power play had a few good opportunities that they just coughed up with horrible passes that shouldn't happen. Like, passing it to a wide open, except you're throwing it behind them. I wouldn't bet on Pittsburgh doing that a whole bunch of times through the rest of this series. So that is a concern. That is a threat, as I labeled it. But at the same time, when you have the advantage at 5-on-5 that the Flyers have, I still think there's a pretty good shot that they're going to win this thing, especially because they have the better goaltending. Like, the fact that the penalty kill's probably going to get gashed a couple of times in this series, that can be made up for by Vladar just simply standing on his head.
Which also, I mean, you make a great point. It's honestly going to come down to, if they can stay out of the box, they're probably going to win the series convincingly.
Yes.
I mean, not convincingly. I mean, we're getting cocky after one game. We're getting a little cocky after one game. I don't want to get too crazy, but
well, hey, I mean, if you just look at the odds, a generic team in this situation, the broadcast said it, a generic team that wins game 1 is 68% likely to win the series. I believe if you look at hockey stats, the JFresh website, they have the Flyers at, I think, 65% likely to win this series now, something around that. Money Puck, I'm sure, probably has similar odds. Like, at this point, the Flyers are the favorites. They might have been slight underdogs heading in, but when you take game one like that, and when you take game one in a sustainable manner, in a way that it looks like you could do that 4 times, because we didn't need Vladar to stand on his head. Actually, the Penguins are the ones that I would be, if I were a Penguins fan, I'd be concerned about the goaltending situation, because Vladar had a merely okay game and Skinner had as good a game as you can expect of Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, he did. He stoned Tippett, I think, 2 times just in the first 2 periods.
The Barkey breakaway, the Zegras breakaway, the Cates 2-on-1.
Honestly, the Michkov chance that he flubbed on was probably going to be a goal. I mean, I don't want
that was going in. If he got that shot off,
dude, Barkey was probably one of the best players on the Flyers in game one. He was really fucking good for a 20-something-year-old. Tons of players. Look, I mean, Travis Sanheim turning into Paul Coffey for
that was sick.
That was
goal was
one of probably his best goal as a Flyer that I've seen. I mean, that was sick. It was just a really good game. Jamie Drysdale looked good. Like you said, Vladar looked good. Vladar didn't have to stand on his head. But like you said, I think the power play, especially with Bettman in the building, did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Especially with Bettman in the building, you know they're going to get their power play chances this game. And that's something the Flyers have to look out for, because the Flyers go to the box a lot. You got Martone, you got Michkov, who leads the team in penalties. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why I think he had the least amount of time on ice.
Among forwards, yeah. Andre played less than him, which is kind of crazy because Andre's a defenseman. But
Michkov played 11:25. Barkey played 11:26. So Barkey got a second more, and Andre played 9:30. You might see Jiricek or Bonk in this series.
Yeah, I was getting some resistance to that, and I don't know why. Like, when you're getting a defenseman out there for 9.5 minutes a night, I'm not that shocked if they make a change, okay? Because defensemen should not be playing fourth line minutes. That just shouldn't work.
I mean, the fourth liners weren't even playing those minutes. Couturier had 15. Glendening had 13, and Hathaway had 12. Oh, jeez.
It's not a good spot to be in, man.
Oh, jeez. I shouldn't.
And I don't know that Andre even deserves that. I actually thought Andre looked pretty good in his very limited sample.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. Like, I was just going to bring that up. I don't think he's looked bad. I think he's actually looked pretty good. He's been aggressive in the neutral zone. He's shut down plays in the defensive zone for the most part, moving the puck pretty well. York too. Like, I'm on Natural Stat Trick right now, and the Flyers on ice. Corsi 4, York 50%. Corsi 4 percentage. Expected goals for percentage, goals for percentage. He was up there. Like, Yorkie, I think, had a pretty good game, and he was getting slandered on the timeline all day yesterday. I don't know what's up with that. Do you think next year Rick will actually pick Michkov on one of the top 2 lines next year, or do we think it'll be the same bullshit? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and speculate.
I actually think that Michkov will be a consistent part of the top 6 next year. I think even right now it's a bit difficult because the organization hasn't had a summer to figure out what they're doing with this winger situation. And we are trying to accommodate the fact that we have too many wingers on the team. It is too many wingers on the team. It's a problem, but it's also a problem you're not hating for the playoff run. Like, Alex Bum should not be sitting on the bench. Just in a vacuum, that shouldn't be happening. I understand why it's happening, and it's perfectly fine. But if I'm Danny Briere over the summer, I'm trying to redesign the team in such a way that the defense primarily, but also the center core gets stronger. The wingers get intentionally a little bit weaker because something's going to have to go in order for us to get the defenseman or the center. And next year, you're probably going to have an increased role from Michkov, consistent ice time for Bump, and I guess Barkey, because now Barkey's also getting the 11 minutes. But these kids in Konecny, I think you're about ready to see them as top 9 wingers. Like, your top 9 next year, as far as the wingers, so I won't include centers, could easily look something like Michkov, Konecny, Forrester, Martone, Bump, Barkey. That's 6.
I'll take it, dude.
And that's nothing against Owen Tippett, but something's got to break with the wingers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've been talking about it for what, a year now?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less.
I will say there's one potential interesting solution that might allow them to kick the can down the road a little bit. How serious are they about Barkey down the middle?
I thought he looked pretty. I mean, I know it was the last game of the season against Montreal. And I know Montreal was still kind of playing for something, but I thought he looked pretty good there. He wasn't very good face-off wise. I think he was at like 25% when I made a tweet like, hey, other than the face-offs that he's at 25% on, I actually kind of like Barkey down the middle right now.
Yeah, exactly. Between his vision, his motor, his skating, because he's a really good skater, actually, I think he has all the ingredients to be a really good center. And as far as the face-offs go, look, we can work on that. I mean, we worked on that with Zegras. It's fine. Zegras is a respectable face-off taker at this point. We do have guys like Couturier who can both take and excel at face-offs in the instances where they're actually important. So I would be 100% for moving Barkey to the middle. It would certainly make the winger situation a lot easier because all of a sudden you actually don't have to trade Owen Tippett if you don't want to. If you don't want to pick between Tippett and Forrester, which it does seem like this is going to come down to, you can bypass that whole thing by moving one of the centers, say if you're less attached to them, and having both Zegras and Barkey down the middle. That's another route they could go. Hell, they could do both. Like, they could package, let's just say, Cates and Tippett, and maybe that gets you a defenseman.
Or like Cates, Tippett, York. Like I could see York moved out at the end of the season too. Definitely a ton of options. There's definitely a ton of options.
That's a package of 3 legitimately good players right there. That shouldn't get you nothing.
It's kind of funny that you say that Zegras is competent on faceoffs now. He was 37.5% last night or 2 nights ago. And then Cates was worse than him at 36.4. So it's like if Cates is taking the faceoffs, let Zegras do it. Who cares? I mean, Glendening, I know he's not playing. Well, him and Couturier kind of go back and forth with faceoffs. Glendening's at 33.3%. So the best one on faceoffs on Saturday night was Couturier at 62.5%. So
predictable. Like, he is fantastic on draws.
He's so good. Aiden would love to see Bunk and Bump in this series, at least Bump. I think you'll definitely see Bump at some point. Right now, I just think Barkey's playing too well for it to be him to come out of the lineup, even though those two were the guys to interchange the last, month of the season. But I definitely think you'll see Bump. And I definitely think there's a chance you see Bunk. Like, would I have thought that a couple weeks ago? But, I mean, he looked really good against Montreal. And, again, I know it was the last game of the season. Both teams, I mean, not both teams. One team, Montreal, was playing for something. I know the Flyers had their AHL team out there, but if you're like Derek said,
didn't sit a lot of guys.
No, they didn't. They were still playing for the division. But like you just said, if you play a player at 9 minutes a night like they are with Andre, it's not going to hurt you to put Juracek in there for the same amount of minutes and then maybe try him as the power play quarterback, because you got to try something with the power play. If they ignite the power play in any way, they could genuinely make a fucking run. If they just score at like a marginally competent clip, they could make a run at the cup. I really like with Vladar playing the way they are, the way he is. With the defense has been good all year. I don't think that's something that even you have been pretty consistently. Even when we didn't like what they were doing in the neutral zone and the offensive zone, you still talked about how they were still a good defensive team. They're still that good defensive team, but they could score now. They're getting that goaltending, and if they could just tweak that power play, man, just maybe Jiricek could bring some light, some extra boost that we didn't have. Gives this guy some life back there. I mean, he has a hell of a shot. We know that. So maybe we will. I think you could possibly see both. So we'll keep an eye on that, Aiden. We'll keep an eye.
Yeah, we'll monitor that situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see. I think it not because I think Bonk doesn't deserve it, but because I think Jiricek has a clear role. As in, like, if we're going to take him out over Andre, we're putting him in because he can do what Andre does, except on power play 1. Like, that is a very easy pathway to playing for him. Whereas with Bonk, you could say he's coming in to play for Andre just period, but that doesn't make as much sense, honestly.
No, I think you make a good point with that.
Played, are you looking at perhaps needing a spot for him next year? I think so.
Yeah. Do you think Ristolainen could be somebody they trade this offseason with Bonk? And then guys like
we've
that.
We've been saying he could be dealt since he's been signed, it feels like.
I know. Played the highest of defenseman time of ice on Saturday. I think 25 minutes he played. Yeah,
we can't trade our number 1 defenseman.
Yeah, he's our Makar, baby. It's actually crazy he's playing that. Like, if you would have told me Rasmus Ristolainen would be playing more than Sanheim in game 1 of the playoffs, I would have been like, what? Especially when he missed the first, 2 months of the season.
And that's working. Like, I think that's what's craziest to me is not only is that happening, it's working.
You know what the crazy thing is? I saw today somebody say that Vladar had a 1.64 expected goals against and still gave up 2. He only faced 18 shots on Saturday.
He faced almost nothing. Like, the Flyers just didn't give up anything. They were completely suffocating defensively, and different from the first part of the year, they were actually creating every once in a while. They were using all of these defensive stops to turn into counterattacks. The way I described it in the piece was the Flyers, when the collapse was coming, were kind of like a fighter, whether it be a boxer, an MMA fighter, whatever. Just picture striking. And they were defending all these punches coming at their head and their body. They were checking the leg kicks. They were doing everything. And they were impenetrable. But eventually, when you have to dodge punches for 60 minutes, you're going to get cracked. You're going to make a mistake and you're going to get cracked. And once you get cracked, your confidence starts to go. And that's kind of what happened. They got cracked a few times and they weren't doing anything in response. So they just kind of lost all confidence and played really listless hockey for about 6 weeks. Well, after the Olympic break, they come back and it's more or less still the same defensive team. But what happened is there's now a price to committing too much, to overextending against Philly. Like, you are going to get counterpunched into oblivion against this team. Like, that was basically what the Flyers were doing all night. Pittsburgh would try and do something with the puck. They would get checked, and it would be a counter rush, and then another counter rush, and then another counter rush. Like, they're still not. They're still not overly good at creating much when they get in the zone. That is still a weakness of this team, but it just doesn't matter because the other team isn't creating anything at all in any circumstance, and they're creating something via all of these counter punches. Now, as you get to the best teams in the league in a conference finals setting or maybe even a second round setting, do weaknesses like that start to hurt you? Probably, yeah. but you can start to see how they're less of a one-and-done playoff darling and more of a legitimate playoff team that you have to take the next steps with.
Isn't it really weird to have a goalie in the playoffs? I don't think in my entire 26 years of living have I had a genuine goalie that I went into a playoff round confident in. Maybe Hart in 2020, but he was like also 23 years old. Ladar's a little bit more old. I mean, I know he's older, not as established, but it's nice having someone back there that you're genuinely confident in. And even if they go on the PK in this game, it sucks. It's something that I want them to stay away from, but I'm not totally like, just throwing my hands in the air. Like, I'm genuinely confident in Dan Vladar. He's able to steal you a game. Like, I know he doesn't have a shutout yet, but we've seen him steal plenty of games this season. So it's nice to have somebody like him.
It's almost interesting how many like 1-goal, 2-goal games he's had and how few shutouts he has actually 0. That's kind of a funny little numbers thing. It would make you think I wouldn't be that shocked if he got a shutout in this playoff series. Usually when you're giving up 1 goal as frequently as he's given up 1 goal, you're going to get all the way and get a shutout at some point here.
If they go back, I said it on X. If they go back to Philly up 2-0, I'm going to be a fucking problem, dude. The city's going to be a fucking problem. Game 3, I mean, the energy for Game 3 is going to be crazy, dude.
Oh, yeah. And Game 4 might even be a bigger problem for Pittsburgh just because I could see Game 3, the energy almost working against the Flyers a little bit, where they get too amped up, play a little bit too amped up, go to the box for stupid shit, make some mistakes with the puck, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
like a little bit
Game 4, once that's no longer a problem and the energy's still there, Game 4 is going to heavily favor the Flyers, almost certainly. And if they win Game 2 tonight, that means even if they lose Game 3, because of what I was just talking about, and they win Game 4, all of a sudden we're going back to Pittsburgh with a 3-1 lead.
And like I said, the eighth best road team in the NHL. That's why I was talking to these people on Twitter yesterday. The whole comment from NBC Sports Philadelphia, the Flyers stole a game. And I understand what they were talking about, but the Flyers were the 8th best team on the road this year. They finished the season from the Olympic break as the 4th best team in the league. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. How the fuck? Because Vegas said they were the underdogs heading into this game means that they're they didn't steal anything. They outplayed them for 50 minutes. What are you talking about? Anything? The game should have been like 5-2. Skinner was great. He really was. He stopped, like you said, Barkey, Tippett a couple times, Zegras. Like, they didn't steal shit. Get the fuck out of here with that.
To me, the connotation of the word steal, if I stole a game, it means I did not deserve to win that game.
Yeah, Derek, move over, bro. People can
me.
The people can
That's
see
funny, because I can actually see like the whole me on my camera. That's what's been throwing me off. And this was the case for last pod too.
I'll tell you when you're in.
Okay.
Other way. Other way. Keep going. Yeah, we got it. There you go.
Right, we're here.
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
More. Now I forget what we were talking about. We had to get Derek centered. There you go. We can see your face.
Yeah. We were talking about. Oh shit! I had it and I lost it. Oh no. Okay. So when people talk about stealing a game, to me, the connotation of stealing a game is that you did not deserve to win that game, whether it be because you got outshot 50-0 or you took a bunch of penalties and the other team didn't cash in. Like, you did something that deservedly should have lost you the game. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the case. The Flyers outplayed the Penguins territorially. They had the edge in every sense, which, by the way, that's part of what made my analytics card say the Penguins won 4-2.
Oh my
so funny.
God.
One of the reasons that post was so funny is because what analytics were you looking at?
Yeah, I know. Like, that was a made-up analytic tweet, dude. That was a made-up tweet. That was. Did you see Mikey's?
Yes.
Like, tweet it. Oh, that was
was
hang the fucking banger, dude. That was so funny. But like, I showed that to my dad, and he was like, "Why would he even say that? Like, you open yourself up to so much ridicule. Like, everyone's going to make fun of you."
It in his head that like he was going to troll and he was going to get a bunch of totally irrational responses, but instead he just got dunked on for being a moron.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, anyone who watched that game knew that the Flyers owned possession for more than half the game. And
yeah, and I think they showed offensive zone time throughout the broadcast, and the Penguins consistently had a little bit of an edge there. But the reason they had a little bit of an edge there is because the Flyers would give them possession time, wait for them to do something stupid, and then get a chance off of it. And then Pittsburgh would just keep obliging, kind of because they have to. Like the broadcast was saying, well, I don't know why they don't just dump it in. They can't dump it in. Like they have 40-year-old Malkin on the ice, okay? He's not winning off of dump-ins. And I love Malkin. He's a great player. But he's a great player in the context of doing the things that make him great. Like,
yeah. And the Flyers were moving the puck.
To where he's going to go steamroll Risto and then take the puck from him and create from behind the goal line. Like, that's not his game anymore, man.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, the Flyers were moving the puck pretty well in that game out of their D zone. So
you know, even if eventually Pittsburgh decides, all right, I'm getting counterpunched to death trying to carry this puck in, so let me dump it in. Here's what's going to happen. The Flyers are going to move the puck out without possession because this is not a great controlled exit team. And then they're going to have to dump the puck in a lot of times themselves, so it's just going to be a total dump-in affair. But the difference is the Penguins will get the puck on their back end, and they will turn it over en masse. They will have turnovers every second attempt because their defense core is turnover city. Like,
yeah. Especially the Tang. The Tang was pretty bad on Saturday.
A player, but is a very high-risk puck mover. You got Chris Letang, who at this age is a walking turnover. You got Sam Girard, who is a pretty good player, but at the same time, very high risk and not even as good as Carlson. So what am I saying with all that? More turnovers. Everybody on that Pittsburgh back end is making pizzas.
Yep. Especially the Tang on Saturday. That dude was turning the puck over left and right. Like, I generally thought he was playing for the Flyers for a second. That dude.
He was the Flyers' best playmaker.
Tony says, cook, Derek. Cook away, my boy.
Well, thank you, Tony. And look, I prefer the Penguins to just keep trying to carry it in because it'll be much better hockey to look at if we see more of game one. Okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. I am perfectly fine with Pittsburgh and getting countered to death, even though I know we win also in the other way. That's just going to be really ugly hockey to watch, frankly, from both sides. Let's just keep with what we're doing here. This is my pitch to Pittsburgh. The 5v5 game isn't going to go well for you either way, but it's going to be a lot better for both of us to watch if you keep doing what you're doing. So let's stick with that.
You know what's crazy? Their game plan, it would not be nuts for their game plan tonight to be just bait the Flyers. You have two young Flyers who are easily baited in Martone and Michkov right now. You have Konecny, who will always be easily baited. If I was Pittsburgh, like you said, guys, they're a tough team to play 5v5. We all know that. Top 5 team in the NHL. They don't allow high danger chances. Let's try to bait this team into some power plays and capitalize on them. Like you said, because there was a couple of just unlucky bounces, weird passes on those power plays from Pittsburgh last game. If I was them, I'd be going into this game looking to try to bait the Flyers into a couple stupid penalties at key times.
That is going to be the number one thing they try. They're going to double down on that. There's going to be a whole ton of after the whistles antics, there's going to be antics. Before the whistles, they're going to be trolling Michkov and Martone into oblivion. And even Zegras. Zegras can get baited too. Between Zegras, Konecny, Michkov, and Martone, you have 4 guys that you could easily target for rage baiting. Yeah. And Michkov is like 2 guys worth of targets for rage baiting.
He rage baits other people too, so
he does. And honestly, with Michkov, it's almost like it's better when you do rage bait him, because when he gets angry, he will take his penalty, but when he gets back, he's like hyper focused. Like the anger focuses him after he commits the penalty.
I was looking at the power play units. I actually don't mind the unit that he's on. You have Dvorak for the face-off draw, Konecny, Michkov, and then Tippett and Risto. I don't hate it. I would like Martone to be on the unit with him, but I would really like to see the power play cash in on 2 tonight. Like, if they could just get the power play going a little bit, they're cooking.
I think Michkov adding that one-timer they were practicing, and the specific one-timer they were practicing would help a lot, because it wasn't the wall-to-wall full cross-seam pass that you're not going to get a whole lot. It was the one-timer off of the defenseman. Like, the defenseman makes that pass to you from the wall, one-timing that. Michkov, once upon a time, coming up through every level besides the NHL, was really good at that shot. And then he just kind of stopped taking it in the NHL for whatever the reasons are. And I think if he starts taking that shot again, on the power play in particular, that is going to add a very necessary element to the power play. And, it's not a super threatening shot for everybody nowadays. Like, goalies, for the most part, are pretty used to it. But certain guys, it's still really threatening with. And I think Michkov, because of the things we were talking about with his mid-range shooting, can be that guy to where it's a really threatening look for him.
Yeah, I think he deceives his shot really well. I don't think he overpowers anyone. He doesn't do anything crazy like that, but he's very deceptive, and he gets the puck off quick. And like you said, it wasn't like a wall-to-wall type pass that they were practicing on. That was a Ristolainen to Michkov D to wing pass, kind of like in the high slot a little bit, kind of away from the wall, the way he was positioned. Do you think a little bit him doing that was because he whiffed on that Barkey pass? Because Michkov reminds me of the kind of kid that like gets mad at something like that. And it's like, you know what? I whiffed on that. I'm going to go take 100 of those exact passes so I never whiff on that again.
Yeah, I think that was a big part of it, actually. I think it was partially that and partially the fact that I think they're finally realizing with this power play, like, dude, you have to take this kind of shot. Like, you can take that kind of shot. You have to.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just keeping the goalie honest, right? Because I think a lot of goalies right now aren't really scared of that shot. I mean, his first goal in the NHL against Edmonton was that exact shot, and I don't think he's done it again since. So you got to keep the goalies honest, and I think if he scores that way tonight, that opens up a lot of different plays for the power play. Like, they just need to get him a goal doing that. And then his playmaking will take over from there because he can play off that goal.
Exactly. It's the same thing that Kucherov had to learn. Like, when Kucherov takes that one-timer, it's not their most efficient look, not by a long shot. But because he's taking that and because he can score off of that, the PK has to defend that, and it gives Kucherov just carte blanche to make all of the insane passes he would make anyway.
He is probably, excuse me. He's probably one of the best passers I've ever seen play hockey.
He might be the best.
He makes them on flat surfaces too. Like, the positions that he makes these passes in, it's like, don't ever become a coach, because that's not That's not how you're supposed to fucking send a pass to someone. He makes the most awkward looking passes, but they're the best passes that you'll ever see in your entire life.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like the things he can do with his body, like his body control is just nuts. He will have like the stick fucking all the way choked up like this, and then he will still make the craziest pass you've ever seen. One touch it. It's nuts.
Nope.
Other than being as talented as he is and also needing to practice it like 10 million times, I think that's pretty much the required 2-item checklist.
He needs to get with Michkov and they need to do that all summer. This summer.
Yeah, seriously. It's interesting because I wonder where Michkov lands with that, because he has the same processor that Kucherov does. One of the necessary ingredients to the things Kucherov is doing, but at the same time,
oh no,
all of the same things from Michkov yet, obviously, or even a lot of the same things from Michkov yet. So I'm kind of interested to see whether Michkov kind of goes his own way, so to speak, and just becomes a different player with the same brain, or if he just develops the same tendencies that Kucherov did. Because Kucherov didn't come into the league making those kinds of plays either.
You know what the funny thing is about all that? Martone's 19, and I already know the exact player that he's going to be. It's not very hard.
Who's the one in your mind?
What was that?
Who's the one in your mind? Because I have a couple that kind of resemble him pretty well.
He reminds me of a right-handed Jason Robertson, if I'm being completely honest with you.
That is my number one too. Yep.
Yeah. A little bit more skilled, a little bit better of a shot, I think. I think Jason's a little. Actually, I don't know, man. Where did this playmaking for Martone come from? Because like the sauces that he puts on his passes sometimes, the way he can lead guys sometimes, he is a very good playmaker. And I'm not saying that I went into like drafting him thinking that he was a bad playmaker by any means. He's a lot better than I thought he was. So a right-handed Jason Robertson with a little bit better of a shot, yeah. Even though Jason's shot's really nice, but I think, I mean, that goal on Saturday, cutting, making space for yourself, taking that space, and then going top right. It's just, that was sick, dude. A 19-year-old's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest separator between Martone and Jason Robertson is the skating. Like, Martone isn't the greatest skater in the world, but he's already significantly better than Jason Robertson. And it's kind of why the other guy I have on my mind is Matt Boldy.
Okay.
I could see.
What's that comparison?
A lot of the same stuff as the Robertson comparison. I just find, like we were talking about how Martone plays a little bit more of a traditional skill game, and that's Boldy. Boldy does a lot of the same things Robertson does, but he's also one of the best possession players in the league. Like watching him protect pucks and find plays that way, and then come back on the return pass. Like after he's made a play, he'll get the puck back and get his shots that way.
Yeah, I see it. That would be. I mean, Matthew Boldy is already a fucking close to a superstar player in the NHL. He's a really, really, really good player. So if Martone could become anything like that, it's crazy. What's he have? 11 points in his first 10 games now, including that playoff game that just passed. So,
yep,
incredible stuff, dude. I really like the sky's the limit for that kid. You should get your Porter Martone Rookie of the Year picks in now, if that's even something that you can do.
Definitely spam that shit.
Definitely spam that shit for sure. Hopefully Michkov gets a little bit more than 11-25 tonight. We'll see how the game goes. I know they're protecting a lead late, so you're going to have guys like Glendening and Hathaway out there protecting it. So that makes sense. If they were down, you'd see guys like Michkov. I don't think he played as bad as some people think he played. I thought Martone had a really good game. Like we said, Barkey had a really good game. Looking for guys like Konecny.
The discourse with Michkov was very weird. like I kind of understood where people were coming from with the bad game thing, because there were a couple of moments with the puck where it was like, oh, I would never expect him to mishandle that the way he did. So I get
Dude,
it from that angle, but
I think he looked nervous, to be completely honest with you. I thought Martone
kinda
looked
did.
nervous the first two periods too. It's not like
Yeah.
I think the first two lines couldn't transport the puck through the neutral zone for the first two periods.
They were visibly amped up, and Michkov looked even more visibly amped up than most. And it's interesting to me. I think it's good to note for me that despite that being the case, he still did a lot of work off the forecheck and in puck battles to grease the rails for Barkey and Cates to create offense. Like, he was still a very useful player, and there's a reason, his line did as well as it did from a territorial perspective. He was helping that significantly. So while I would definitely want Michkov to settle down coming into game 2, and I think he will, I'm also pretty encouraged by the fact that he did not play bad hockey at all. He played a pretty good game, all considered.
I'm looking for that line's expected goal for percentage. They had a 62.73 expected goal percentage that game.
Yeah.
The Forest,
I saw it as high as 80%, depending on which model you use. Like, it was really good.
I'm on natural stat trick, and the Tippett, Zegras, and Forrester line had a 96.55 expected goals.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And like you said, I thought Couturier's game individually, the physicality that he brought was good, but I don't think that fourth line as a whole was good, because the eye test, I don't think they were very good, and the expected goals for percentage, 38.33, kind of backs that up. But like you said, the Michkov line, 62.73, I thought they looked pretty good. I think like you said, Michkov looked a little amped up. I thought Martone looked a little amped up. Hopefully, it's a little bit more calm this game. Throw that Michkov point in. I think it's a lock, Derek.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about Michkov at all. Especially I wasn't going into the series. I had high expectations for him coming in, but watching game 1, that was not a game from Michkov that would slow down those expectations at all.
Reading Vince's comment, listening to the pod now, just wondering why all the hate for the Pens. Is the hate as palpable as birds/boys? Rivalries don't seem to be as insane as they were back in the 80s, 90s. Maybe. Well, when your team is irrelevant for 10 plus years, it's pretty hard to build rivalries. So
yeah, we didn't have a rivalry other than with ourselves.
Yeah, give us a couple of years, and then we can
our
build rivalries.
With our GMs, whoever it was at the time.
We're with each other. We're fighting each other every day for a decade. You got to give us a little bit to be in the playoffs and piss some teams off to get back to that kind of fighting each other in the playoffs type shit. Hopefully, we can kick these fucking fuckers out and never see them again. That core, at least, I'm talking about.
That would be pretty impressive stuff.
Like I said,
retiring Crosby and Malkin would be a hell of a feat,
wouldn't it? And then the celly from Martone after the goal too. Oh my god! I tweeted out today that I think I'm feeling a Forrester snipe, Derek.
I'm feeling that too. If you asked me, because I'm feeling good about the game in general, the 3 guys I would expect to have very good games are Michkov, Forrester, and Zegras. I think Zegras was knocking on the door of a very, very good game last time around, and I think he goes all the way there this time. And Forrester and him are line mates, so that kind of goes hand in hand. And then Michkov, I think it's been a bit of a trend recently that every time he gets clowned on X, that he almost goes nuclear the game after every time.
It is true, though. It does seem like almost every time he gets clowned on, he snaps the next game. Thought Dvorak looked pretty good, too. Tippett, even though he didn't show up on the score sheet, he had that one hit that was like, get the fuck out of my way. That was great.
I don't think any Flyer looked actively bad other than maybe Konecny. Konecny really did not look good. And I will save him from the incoming barrage of autumn jokes. It's too close to game time. I won't hit him with those.
He didn't look bad, but he definitely didn't look like he didn't look as good as the player that you were paying almost $9 million.
Yeah, and the second period, he actively looked bad. For most of the game, he didn't actively look bad. That second period was something.
He got knocked off the puck pretty easily in that second period a lot. I agree there. Still picked up an assist, though. Even though, it wasn't anything crazy.
I don't even know if he actually
that was all
made
Martone.
On that puck.
He did.
But,
he did. He settled the play. He settled the puck down and then dished it off to Martone, and then Martone took it from there. Obviously, that was all Martone. Okay. But like you said, it's not crazy to sit here and say you should expect more from Konecny. I really, as fucked up as it sounds, are you personally tired of hearing the injured excuses? Oh, he's injured. Okay. So is 85% of the NHL right now that is in the playoffs.
Who isn't injured? And if he's that injured to where he can't play right now, if that's the idea, then he can't play. If he's healthy enough to be out there, then we have to judge him on what he's doing out there. If he's not healthy enough to be out there because he's going to go out there and he's going to have these games and this is just what we need to expect from Konecny, then maybe he shouldn't play. The idea that Konecny in his current form is a no doubt better player than Alex Bump seems silly to me. Konecny fully is obviously a better player than Alex Bump. But if you're telling me we can't get that, if you're telling me that he's playing at 50% or whatever it is, then let him sit.
For sure. I don't think they do that, though. That's not going to happen. They're not going to turn around and sit him. We'll see. It's not crazy to hold him to a certain standard, even if he is a little banged up. Like I said, a lot of the NHL is banged up right now, so pretty hard to.
And also, he's always
every
banged
fucking
up this time of year.
I know.
That's why the autumn jokes work. This is every year where he's snapping all autumn, whether it be October, November, or whatever. And then, Konecny's dead now. And you can't expect anything more than a half a point per game in 22 minutes a night because he's injured. This is every year. The minute March hits, he's on a stretcher, apparently.
Didn't this happen with Simmons back in 2018? I think he played in that Penguin series, extremely injured. And I remember being like, at what point is it selfish to play that injured?
Exactly. At a certain point, you're doing it for your own pride and you're not actually benefiting the team.
Yeah. I don't think we're there with Konecny. I don't think he's been laboring that bad. But it is pretty obvious he's dealing with something. But like you said, man, it's the playoffs. It's time to fucking buckle down, man. Buckle up. Johnny Dub says no one looked particularly bad. TK was just average. They played a great team game. They did. They play a great team game.
I would
they
agree
really
with
do.
that.
They usually do play a great team game. I know I said it last pod by myself, but they really got to survive the first 5 minutes of this game because the fucking Penguins are going to come out flying.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna look. They're gonna be looking to come out and go up 2 goals early. So if they can handle that barrage, they're in a good fucking spot, man. Really exciting game, man. 7:00. What are we? Hour away? 1 hour, baby.
Yep, 1 hour away. And we're the first game on, so there shouldn't be a super massive delay 30 minutes there was last time.
Sweet. Definitely. Chinikov. Who's that really? Dude, Soderblom? Big ass dude, man. He made a move where he cut inside and just completely shoved Zegras away. It was I'm not blaming Zegras. Any normal fucking NHL player would get shoved away by that dude. He's 6'7" on skates. I just think the Flyers are a better team, dude. this Pittsburgh team doesn't scare me the way they used to in the playoffs. I'm not going into any of these games. I mean, I didn't go into Saturday's game. I'm not going into today's game nervous. I'm going into these games like we could fucking do this. We can beat this team, and we can beat this team convincingly too. Just stay out of the box. Don't give them any kind of momentum that way. You're the better 5v5 team, and capitalize on a couple power plays if you have them. Like it's. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but what they need to do is stay out of the box.
Series, but more importantly, they can win, and if they play well, if they play up to their abilities, they will win. Like, they do not need to play over their heads in order to beat this Pittsburgh team.
What were we saying on text earlier? I think we were talking about the stealing a game. Like, I think there's plenty of time for the Flyers to steal games if they move on to round 2. Then they will probably genuinely be stealing games. But right now, it's a 50-50 series. That's what I said on text. I think I went into the series thinking it's a 50-50 series. If you generally went into game 1 thinking that they were like the severe underdogs, you were not watching since the Olympic break. I mean, how could you possibly call that team the underdog going into that game? How could you possibly do it? I mean, the Penguins were 12-10-4 after the Olympic break. The Flyers were 18-7-1. The Flyers were the 8th best team on the road this year. How could you possibly go into that game thinking that, because it was the playoffs? Because Vegas said it? Because they have Sidney Crosby? Like, no, the Flyers like playing on the road. No, the Flyers were one of the hottest teams going into that game. So, and I thought that was a crazy combo.
Game is a pretty substantial sample size. Like that, your 27 most recent games should be pretty important to look at.
Yeah. Johnny says they're deeper on paper outside Crosby, who's 37. Pens have the advantage at power play. That's about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. Like I've said before, they stay out of the box somewhat in this series. They will win this series convincingly. No doubt about it.
Agreed. 100%.
Seamus says, did playoff Risto live up to the hype in game 1? Most time on ice for the Flyer. He's looked really good, man. He's looked really good.
He did.
Obviously,
he looked fantastic.
I think a lot of this has to do with them showcasing him a little bit. I just want to say that. Like, there's no way there isn't a team that offers some crazy shit for him this summer if he stays healthy in this playoff series, because he's looked really good. He's, I don't want to say best defenseman because, Derek, I think I have kind of a hot take. I think Jamie Drysdale looked like the best defenseman in that game.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. I mean, if you wanted to wait for the fact that Travis Sanheim turned into Cale Makar for that one play, and you just wanted to prioritize that over everything else, I would find that fair. But on balance through the whole game, I would probably say Drysdale as their best defenseman in that game. He at least looked the best to me.
Tony, is this comment to my comment about Drysdale? Because if so, my man, definitely thought. I mean, the way he was moving his feet, shutting plays down, moving pucks, like he's been really good. Tony says the whole decor straight up leveled up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, other than Andrea playing 9 minutes a night, like we said earlier in the podcast, that might be an area.
And even in his 9 minutes, he looked good. Like, he could probably get a couple more than 9 minutes, actually, but
I don't know what the fuck is going on with StreamYard, but the way they fucking put the comments on here is just crazy. It's all mixed up. Like, the new one will be like in the middle. I'm like, what the fuck? Johnny says, Tony says cannoli. Where are the cannolis? We need more cannolis, bro.
Not in Cancun.
No, that was crazy. Tony literally almost got me killed in Cancun. Had me in the streets with El Mencho. It was
fighting
crazy.
The cartels for the cannoli.
For the cannoli. He's like, yeah, just look for a guy on a fucking motorbike. I'm like, bro, I'm like hammered in Cancun. Crazy work, bro. Never got that cannoli either. Very disappointing. I keep thinking that bump or bonk. I cannot believe they have players that are bonk, Barkey. What the fuck is going on?
Could you imagine if they kept Brink? Oh my god.
Bobby Brink. Did he even play in that playoff game? I haven't heard his name a good bit.
He didn't really do much from what I understand, but he played.
Bobby Brink. Haven't heard that name.
I'm
going to
be keeping an eye on that series to the best of my ability, though. That's a good series, Minnesota and Dallas.
Definitely. So was the Montreal Tampa series. I enjoyed watching that game yesterday.
And if we're going through other teams and other teams' games, I didn't get to this until near the end, but that was the best part. That Buffalo-Boston game, man, that was cinema.
That was playoff hockey, dude. That was...
Oh, God, yes. That Buffalo comeback, the crowd reaction, oh, my God. So good.
Tony says, score predictions tonight. Tony's calling 5-3 Philadelphia.
I like that, actually.
I like that too, man. I'm thinking 5-2, 5-3. Yeah, I like that a lot. Because I don't think Skinner's going to stay on his head either, man. I think the Flyers are just a little bit too overwhelming. The Flyers are just an extremely confident team right now, and I think you can see that in the way they play. They believe in each other. They genuinely believe that they can beat this Penguin team, and I think you'll see that tonight. I really do. Yeah, Johnny says that Buffalo comeback was gross. Yes, it was, dude.
Could do a whole podcast celebrating how electric that Buffalo comeback was.
I could do a whole podcast just talking about their tailgating. Those guys fighting the mannequin and shit. That was hilarious, bro. Like, I'm actually extremely happy for those fans. Those guys deserve it, man.
Look, if we're seeing somebody in the Eastern Conference Finals, first of all, thank God. I don't know how that happened, but second of all, I want it to be Buffalo. The Philly versus Buffalo series would be outrageous.
Dude, the cities would burn down.
Yeah, it's a good point. We'd have freaking Buffalo looking like Gaza and Philly looking like Tehran.
Dude, what's that movie with Jim Carrey? Bruce Almighty at the end where he grants everybody's wishes and Buffalo wins the cup and just the streets are just completely being vandalized. They're on fire. That's exactly what it would be like in real life. Crazy. One of the best playoff games that I've seen in a long time, especially for round one, too. Like, these series are good. Colorado, LA, Dallas, Minnesota, Vegas, Utah was a good game. You got Edmonton and Anaheim tonight.
Tampa and Montreal was good.
Yeah. Even, like, usually when Carolina is in a playoff series, I'm like, I'm not watching that. They play the most boring style of hockey, and I hate their goal horn. Even that series is kind of, because I like watching Ottawa. They're a fun young team. And then obviously you have our series. So a lot of good hockey, dude. A lot of like my friends who are like casual hockey fans have been like, dude, this has been really fun. Like, I've been watching hockey almost every night. Like, these games have been awesome. The Flyers are in it. Like, everyone's fired up, dude. It's cool to see.
Yeah, it's a hell of a time.
I need a win tonight. We need 2-0, Derek. We need
oh my
2-0.
God. The narratives would be out of control. Propaganda would just be flying recklessly.
And
Pittsburgh would burn down.
I'm going to be a fucking problem if they go up 2-0, dude. I'm going to be talking so much shit, and I'm blacking the fuck out at Game 3.
I need that guy that we were talking about earlier, that Penguins account. I need to see his reaction to this.
Which one's that?
I need that to happen. You know, they won 4-2 on my analytics card. I need to see that guy reacting.
Let me go find that real quick.
Deficit.
He honestly might just throw out another. Yeah, the Pens blog. Dude said Pens won 4-2 on my analytics chart. Puck luck always a factor, though. 84.4 win probability in Game 2.
Oh man, those
Okay.
update tweets are gonna hit so hard if the Flyers win. Update, update. It's gonna be coming in from
You just go in there and bookmark that tweet real quick and done. We will be there. Dude, his fucking comment section will be littered with Philly fans if we win this fucking game, dude. Did you see some of the videos of the guys outside of the stadiums like bickering with the fans? It was funny as hell. Like it's all in good fun though.
I
People
saw
take
that
that shit
post.
too
It was
seriously.
like, what was there, fucking 7 fights before the game or some shit?
That's hilarious, dude. We're so fucking back. We are so fucking back. Real quick before we do end this, I want to go over just who you think is going to win each series. So I'll say the series and then we'll both just pick real quick. Colorado, LA. I got Colorado. Yeah. Dallas, Minnesota. I got Mini.
Yeah, I'll take Minnesota.
Vegas, Utah.
Vegas.
Vegas, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder than most people think. I thought that was a good game last night.
It'll be an interesting series.
Edmonton, Anaheim. Dude, I'm going to say Anaheim, bro. They scored a lot of goals. No, from what I saw on Twitter today, on X, whatever you want to call it, it was like a touchy subject whether or not he was going to play. Even if he does play, and I know Connor McDavid and Leon, it's hard to bet against them. Anaheim scores goals. Anaheim can't defend too, so I guess it goes both ways. But they score goals, and Edmonton doesn't have the best goalie. So that's an interesting series, dude.
That is a very interesting series. And you know what? I will co-sign the hot take. Let's pick an underdog here. We need Anaheim is our pick here.
Buffalo, Boston. I got Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Especially after that comeback. Like they're not losing that series now. Tampa, Montreal. No. I think Tampa comes back and wins that series.
Yeah, I think so too. It was a little concerning to me if I'm a Montreal fan that we needed that many power play goals to beat Tampa in overtime. Dude, when your power play's clicking that well, I wouldn't want to rely on that.
No, for sure. Every time I looked up in the fucking Carolina-Ottawa series, I feel like somebody was on the power play. I was, what the hell is going on, dude? Every time I look up. That series, Carolina, Ottawa, I got Carolina. They're just too good of a hockey team. I don't care what kind of style they play.
Yep, same here.
Some of the 5 guys that they ice are crazy. Then Philly, Pittsburgh.
Philly and 6.
Philly, baby. Yeah, I like Philly in 5.
Yeah, I hear Philly in 5 too. I mean, playoff series are crazy. I don't want to get too high or too low because Pittsburgh will punch back at some point, probably, but they're in a really good spot right now.
Like I said, they're going to come out hot tonight. They're going to come out pushing. We gotta weather that storm for the first 5-6 minutes, and if we do, Derek, we could go up 2-0. 2-0 and need some power play goals tonight.
If you find a way to score in that onslaught, that's just going to be mentally crippling.
And like Tony said, will Skinner look like that again? We'll see.
Yeah.
Follow me at Chris Stumps at the Liberty L on X, Derek at Suitable Alias, and go Floors.